This year at E3, Nintendo shared the first glimpse of the next Zelda game for Wii U, which is well into development. Let's head back to Nintendo headquarters in Japan to see what Mr. Miyamoto and Mr. Aonuma have been working on.
Okay, so today, why don't we show a glimpse of how the new Zelda game is shaping up?
Sure.
Ah, and it looks like it's sunset already. So we must be looking to the west.
Right. I wanted everyone to see how beautiful this scene is with the setting sun.
Oh wow, he's climbed way up high.
Yes. Since this is such a huge world, we're making a number of high places that offer great views.
So now you could decide where to go to from here.
Right.
You can see so far.
This is a good place to look around from. And if you see, say, a suspicious-looking tower in the distance, you might decide to head there.
Right.
And then you saw that flash there?
Whoa, he set a new type of beacon.
Yes, and now the corresponding place is also marked on the map. Since Link is here now, this is the distance he needs to traverse.
You can also zoom in from here, right?
You can, by tapping here, and you can also zoom out, and further out.
That's a huge world.
We haven't even seen the whole world yet.
This must be the edge of the map. How far are we from here to the edge of the map?
Yeah, it would take a very long time for Link to walk. But anyway, why don't we try to go to the point that we marked on the map? Let's go.
Whoa, a phew. Good to know he had the sailcloth.
Right, it played an important role in Skyward Sword. Now, it'll be a bit hard to reach our destination on foot, but luckily, here we have a horse.
Oh, Epona, long time no see. This is a densely wooded area.
Yet, I'm hardly touching the control stick.
You're not touching it.
Yeah, and I won't hit any trees. Real horses don't run into trees very often.
Well, that seems natural.
We're working on details like that.
And now that your hands are free, you can do a variety of things on the horse.
Yes, you can freely change the camera angle, for example. And you can swing a sword like normal. And shoot arrows.
You can take time to aim now.
Why don't we go to a place where we can aim at enemies with these arrows?
There's insect and animal life as well. I saw apples growing here the last time.
Yeah, you can pick and eat them.
This looks a bit suspicious. We must be near a dungeon.
In places like this,
I knew
you
it.
tend to run into these guys.
Oh, another one there. All right. Oh, I heard a metallic sound.
That sound tells you that your arrow has hit the right spot and damaged your enemy. And then in situations like this,
You can vault off the horse.
yes, while jumping, you can shoot arrows.
I see. And you're in slow motion while jumping off the horse.
Yes,
Wow, easier to aim. So how far away is our destination from here?
well, it'll still take about 4 or 5 more minutes, I suppose.
4 or 5 minutes more. Are you sure that this will be released next year?
Yes, all of the staff members are working together and doing their best. By the way, Mr. Miyamoto, how about your Star Fox title?
What? Star Fox? You're asking me that now? No worries about Star Fox.
Oh, that's good news.
Star Fox will arrive before The Legend of Zelda next year. The way it uses the gamepad is really starting to feel good.
Oh, but before that comes out, we'll release Majora's Mask.
Right you are. We've made a number of adjustments to Majora's Mask, and it now feels pretty good on 3DS.
Yeah, we made it easier to play without altering the feel of the original game.
And we've worked on some places where we felt improvements were necessary.
That's right, after 10 years, no less.
It's taken 10 years, but the 3-day system is intact. And it's so accessible, you could even play while chatting like this.
This is the new world of Zelda. It's quite a vast world, isn't it? You can even reach those mountains in the distance if you walk far enough. We couldn't create such a wide world like this in the past. As far as what you can do with such a vast field to explore, As soon as those boundaries are removed, it means you can enter any area from any direction. So the puzzle solving in this game begins the moment the player starts to think about where they want to go, how they will get there, and what they will do when they arrive. This is a clean break from the conventions of past games in the Zelda series, where you had to follow a set path and play through the scenario in the right order. I believe this departure will create opportunities for new gameplay that have not been experienced in previous Zelda games. As you can see, and as you know from the Zelda series, the world in these games can be quite peaceful. However, it is a Zelda game after all, so strong enemies will certainly appear, even in this setting. Powerful enemies appearing in such a peaceful world is one of the defining features of the Zelda series.
I think that's one convention we can keep, right?
Compared to other Zelda games, the world of Majora's Mask is extremely strange and somewhat spooky. Set in a world doomed to destruction, you have just 3 days to traverse the land of Termina, save it from the brink of destruction, and bring hope to a cast of endearing characters trapped in the final hours of their lives. Coupled with challenging dungeons and a 3-day time limit, this dark departure from the Zelda formula must have left some intense and scary memories in players' minds. As we worked on the remade version, we set out to maintain the original level of challenge while keeping the game accessible for anyone, so we also focused on making sure the gameplay experience was as smooth as possible. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D will be available for Nintendo 3DS in stores and Nintendo eShop in spring 2015.
We can't tell you everything about 2015 today, but to provide an update on one of his upcoming projects, let's head to Japan to hear from a very special friend.
Hello, everyone. 2014 passed so quickly, and yet here we are starting to look ahead to next year. In 2015, we are continuing to expand the world and characters we know you love. I'm especially excited about Wii U in 2015 because we will be delivering a number of titles that emphasize the system's unique features.
Miyamoto です。こんにちは。今ゲームパッドとテレビを使った新しいゲームをいっぱい作ってます。ゲームパッドを使って遊んでると大きなテレビを見てる。そうすると遊んでる人以外にも周りで見てる人も楽しいんですね。ぜひとも周りで見てても楽しい新しい経験をよろしく。
2015 is also a special year for another reason. It will be the 30th anniversary of when we first released Super Mario Bros. Right now, we are developing Mario Maker, with which anyone can easily create their own side-scrolling Mario game. And where the act of creation itself is fun. I think this is going to be a perfect fit for the 30th anniversary. Today, we are happy to share some new footage. Let's take a look. Take from me, it wasn't this easy to make Mario stages back in 1985. I'm very excited to see what everyone creates with Mario Maker. And who knows, one day, Mario Maker may become a popular series of its own.
Well, Fails, there you go. This has, of course, been footage from the Game Awards 2014 regarding brand new games coming out soon from Nintendo. And so far, we've seen a tantalizing glimpse at The Legend of Zelda on Wii U. And my word, this is shaping up to be a very impressive game.
Most certainly it is, yes. You see, the Wii U Legend of Zelda has been very hotly anticipated. And
Oh,
of
yes.
course, we have, way back there, we saw some screenshots and ideas of what Link might look like a long time ago.
Footage from E3, that's right.
And a lot of people were thrilled about it because the graphics were so good, and they really did, compare to modern games, etc. With, of course, in the Link and
Zelda-style world.
Zelda environment, yeah.
That's right. Of course, some people were saying back then about the graphics having this cartoony style look, and indeed we've seen that again today. But if you ask me, I'm warming up to the cartoon style quite a lot now. I'm liking what I see here. The graphics look sharp and HD and very believable for a Zelda game, if you ask me.
Well, I think they perhaps, looking at what they've done there, it seems like they have the balance quite right. It's not too cartoony. It's still got some nice graphics in it, is what we can see there. With Epona, the horse he's riding on there, and Link himself looked rather good. And look at those scenes. We can see the scenes there where he's standing up on that very large, tall mountain, whatever it is.
That's right.
In the sunset, looking very, very good indeed. And I quite like the way they navigate around as well.
Yes, of course. There's a heavy focus on the gamepad this time. Mr. Aonuma is using the gamepad a lot with his moving around, targeting things, reticules, adjusting Link's motions on horseback, etc. and so forth, so perhaps a heavy focus on that. I'm not entirely sure yet just how much the gamepad will focus into the final game, whether it might perhaps be able to be turned on or off or optional, etc. and so forth, but one of the new features I do like here was, of course, Epona's automatic targeting or navigation system. She can, of course, guide herself through the world, if it still is Epona, whilst you are free to do things like vault off horseback, shoot enemies, swing your sword, etc. and so forth, without actually having to guide the horse, because, like the man said, horses are intelligent.
Most certainly. Now, I like what they've done there, because indeed, rather than just bashing into the trees, as he said,
yes,
the Epona or the horse will actually avoid those as you play.
That's right.
And of course, what we saw there, we saw Link shooting the arrows from the horse, jumping off the horse and shooting as he goes. So Epona's almost becomes like a tank against the enemies.
Yes, that's right. In some ways of describing, indeed, little boy, and you're just riding through these wonderful environments, and something they really stressed as they were going through the commentary on the video there was, of course, the scale of the world. This is a massive world, and many times they were saying it would take several minutes just to reach the edge of the map when they were already quite close to it. So perhaps their walking on foot might take hours to traverse the whole environment. It really is a vast sense of scale this time.
Most certainly, and you beat me to that, actually talking about the scale of the environment as we were watching there. I was impressed by that.
Yes.
Large environment, lots to exploring things, not just loads of fields, but baddies popping up here and there. I think they've done a good job on that.
That's right, of course, and just speaking of the scale of the world and the things you'll find in the world, I think this time the way they've approached those dungeons famous in Zelda is a bit different, of course. Perhaps this time there's a much more open and free approach to dungeons, and perhaps any dungeons you find you might just be able to tackle then and there. For example, you won't necessarily need to have the boomerang to do the boomerang dungeon, as it were.
Ah, that's interesting, because of course that's been something very much involved with previous Zelda games.
Oh yes.
So perhaps they're trying for a whole new feel and look, well, keeping the feel of the old whilst introducing some new things, such as what you say there, just being able to go straight into dungeons and explore them.
Yes, I mean, I don't know, given the sheer scale of the world and the perhaps more free approach, whether Mr. Miyamoto and Mr. Aonuma there may have been inspired by games like Skyrim, which of course favour a more open world approach to these things.
Well, that's very interesting, and I quite like the whole idea of Zelda,
yes.
Within a Skyrim type of environment, or acting like Skyrim, with these big open spaces, lots to explore,
that's
things
right.
to do. I mean, it really adds a lot to the game.
Yes, indeed. I'm sure there'll be central locations still, for example, like Hyrule Castle and the farm and the village, etc. and so forth, things that are staples of the Zelda series. There's another horse there, as you can see, rather interesting touch. But indeed, I think we are seeing a new and fresh take on Zelda here with the cartoon-style graphics that's sure to be a hit, I think, old chap.
Well, yes, most certainly, yes, and I like the way, as you said there, the horse coming in, lots of things happening in the environment as you go through it, rather than just hacking through some grass to the next castle or wherever you're going.
Oh yes, so certainly Twilight Princess had a big world, but if you're looking for scale, this appears to be the world that the Zelda game rather, that has that scale in the world, with all these things in the environment, and indeed the environment itself is rendered very lushly. They've really put a lot of time, detail and effort into making this a believable, large sort of country open area for you to explore with, of course, things like dungeons peppered therein, I should think.
Most certainly, yes, indeed. They've taken some time and effort on it, you can see, and this is rather exciting, and no doubt the fans will be very, very excited about this.
Of course, and we don't yet know final details. For example, things like, who is this Link? Is he the Link Hero of Time? Is he a different Link? Who is the horse? Is she Epona? Is Zelda here? Is Ganondorf here? All these, of course, story-related questions, no doubt, will be revealed as the game comes closer to launch, but of course, no doubt in any case, this is going to be a very encompassing and enjoyable Zelda game to play, I think.
Oh, most certainly, yes, hotly anticipated, and apparently they have said said, or we heard, it's going to be next year.
That's right, Elway. It will be next year.
Yes.
They've said that both Star Fox for Wii U and Majora's Mask on 3DS will launch before Zelda, though, of course. So we have Majora's Mask to look forward to in the spring, and of course a Wii U Star Fox game, which Mr. Miyamoto, of course, teased both in this presentation and also at E3, where we could see him playing an off-screen shot there of a Star Fox game in development.
Most certainly, yes, and it looks as though we're going to see, as I remember, I believe, yes, Majora's Mask first and then Star Fox, I think.
We think so. That appears to be the way it's going to be running. So, I don't know if this time Star Fox on Wii U will have a multiplayer campaign. Perhaps you'll be able to go online, etc. and so forth, or maybe it'll just be offline like before. I do hope they'll bring a multiplayer into the game. I don't think we'll see a multiplayer mode in Majora's Mask, because of course that's a very classic Zelda game, so I think we're going to see very much a traditional sort of approach to that one, although he did say it's going to be more accessible this time. Now, who knows what accessible actually means?
Well, we don't know at the moment. We'll have to wait and see. Who knows what they might add. We'll just have to wait and see on that one, but it's looking interesting, very interesting.
I mean, he said the 3-day system's going to be intact, but perhaps this time there's going to be a more casual approach. I mean, for example, there could be perhaps an easier way of getting through the game. It could appeal to a wider audience, perhaps. They said they've made some changes there that took 10 years in the making, so it's going to be very interesting to see exactly what kind of changes these are.
Well, yes, most certainly, and of course, yes, 10 years is a long time, so
yes.
I don't think they'll just come along and say, well, okay, here's the game that works on 3DS, and it's exactly the same, but it just works on 3DS.
Exactly.
I don't think so. They're going to add things to it, no doubt, to make the fans happy.
I think so, but perhaps they'll have gone over every nook and cranny of the game, adding details here and there and sprucing things up. Indeed, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time was quite a straightforward. I mean, there weren't too many things changing that, perhaps one or two things here and there. Of course, the graphics are upgraded, and I think this time Majora's Mask is running the same engine as Ocarina of Time was, but perhaps there'll be a greater focus on things they've actually tinkered and changed in the system.
Well, most certainly. We expect just more than a re-render in 10 years.
Well, indeed, Elway, and certainly that's what they've implied they will be doing, but certainly I think one thing's for sure, the moon will destroy the town if you're too late.
It could well be, yes indeed.
I think so, Elby. So, Majora's Mask there, rather exciting. Star Fox, an interesting proposal too. Perhaps multiplayer on the horizon for that. We've got a sneak peek at the new Zelda on Wii U, which no doubt will be a hotly anticipated title of 2015. This has been a rather interesting and informative briefing, El chap.
Well, most certainly, yes indeed. And I no doubt you out there who are listening are going to be very excited about all this. Do tell us in the comments, say what you think. You like the way they're presenting this new Zelda game? What do you think about the Star Fox game, etc.? Just let us know what you think. I mean, no doubt one of the main ones on people's minds are going to be the Wii U Zelda, because this is very, very exciting indeed, I think.
Indeed, old boy, and certainly just before we move off there, we can see they've also shown us some interesting footage of Mario Maker, which is looking a lot more spruced up than it was before. They've got some new games being shown there, new interesting toys to play with, and I think Mr. Miyamoto himself has high hopes for the game to become quite popular.
Oh, most certainly, yes indeed. Yet another game there, so there's a lot in the pipeline for 15 from Nintendo. Some exciting games and some, big titles.
That's right, old boy. Smash Brothers may have been launched, but Nintendo have only just started with the Wii U, it seems, and they'll want to shift a lot of units as they continue to produce quality games for people to play, I'm sure.
Oh, certainly, yes.
There you go then, Vales. Nintendo at the Gamer Awards, a rather interesting presentation. We hope to see more. Do join us in, I say, because we'll have the news as and when it comes out. We look forward to seeing you then. Until then.
Bye.